Hi YouTube. Um, Today I will be doing something a little different. It's like I was gonna make a video where I have record my scripts or something, and then like talk about my theories and go like, oh, like this part here, da 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 da. I was like, I didn't really know like, was that allowed for me to take this video and then use it in my content, or will I get like copyrighted and stuff like that? I was like, today I'll do a reaction video, something new, never done it before, but I guess it's a safer option. But I was like, um first, we'll go over it. We'll watch it, and then I'll probably nitpick it. I think I'll nitpick one video at a time, just so I don't try to bounce back between two. So like, oh wait, was that video this video? But whatever. We'll get into it, and I I'll just let you watch it first, and then I'll speak my mind about these certain parts. Because technically, I was like, I couldn't produce theories because I was like, well, I want to kind of point it out. I was like, ah, this is what I think, or whatever. More like, more like a prediction, much like less theories. So like, I felt like this format would be a little bit better than me writing out a script and trying to make a sense. Um, but let's get into it. Before though, I just wanted to show. I hope that Round 8 is watching this, and also Neo Wiz. I have the official Liza P sweater on, and let me see. Let me zoom this in. I have the Black Rabbit Brotherhood sweater in the back, right there. I bought both official sweaters, and I've been trying to buy some shirts, but they're all sold out. Well, at least not my size. Let me add this before. It's like, this game is what changed my life. This is what I, started my whole YouTube and TikTok and, well, my content creator career on, was this game specifically. On October 8th is when I first started, and it was about this game. So I hope that maybe somehow, some way, that the Liza P devs might see this and go, well, see that I appreciate the work they've done, because it's really changed what I have done for the last almost 2 years now. But let me get back into the video. Let me start over. There we go.
How can it be winter all of a sudden?
I'm sorry. You want to know the year?
What a pleasure to meet a stalker worthy of the name. It's been far, far too long.
Oh, my forever friend. Help me to hold your hand and dance.
You're not the puppet I was expecting. Who are you?
She was looking for someone.
Legendary. She stepped up only because no one else could. Too many stalkers were lost to that evil.
I'll do whatever it takes. Your survival is all that matters. Nothing else comes close, not even my life. I swear I won't be late. Not again.
This demo looks so amazing. I can't wait for it to come out sponsored. And we run it back. But now I'm gonna pick it apart. I probably should cut that part out. This device here, I remember seeing like in the description of this video, it's like, we somehow have this strange device and it takes us back in time. Looking at this device, it seems almost to be like a butterfly, and then a butterfly comes out. And the only person I've known who has butterflies associated with them and who has powers with time is Sophia. And if you look back at this moment here, where are we? We're standing on some sort of like just rough sidewalk or something. But look, there's this beat up old cabin, and what I look like stone walls and some small shrubbery and bushes. I know exactly where this is at. I might put a small clip in here later. But it's like, this is exactly right after we fight the Archbishop and this is where we go to that one little well, like I guess the start of what happened to Krat. It's like the very very like founding, I guess, village, if you can still say. But I know exactly what to see. This is where that one room's at near an old stargazer. There's stargazer in particular that in the main game doesn't work at all. It almost looks like broken and run down, but we fixed the stargazer. But this one in particular is the only one in the game that I found personally, and I think it's in fact the only one that does not work at all. But it's almost like a rusty-esque color, and like it's sitting in this area. So I always thought to myself that like maybe that one stargazer has something to do with possible DLC, and it looks like we're in right around that area. That seems so. And then let me.
How can it be?
I'm curious about this symbolism here. Since we have the fox stalker, there is a, I guess, adult fox and 2 young foxes, and we know that the fox stalker really wanted a little brother, so they just had the black cat, you know, got real close to them. It's like, I'm curious, like, is there any symbolism to, like, if it's in the past, how long ago in the past? I'm curious. Makes me wonder if, like, how young was the fox stalker? Was she the mature age fox, or was she one of 2 of the younger foxes?
How?
I'm curious how far back in time it is, because from what we know from the game, that we don't really know how long the puppy frenzy has been going on. From what it seems like it's not relatively new, not like something that just happened a few days before or a week before. It feels like a lasting, ongoing like event. The puppet frenzy didn't feel like it was anytime soon to me. So I'm curious, like, this is supposed to take place a few days before the puppet frenzy, and it's snowing, and it was not at all snowing in the base game. So I'm curious, like, how much time has passed since the puppet frenzy and the outbreak, and it started just, you know, attacking their caretakers and their handlers and their owners, because I suppose Romeo, or I'm still curious, Romeo seems to be conscious when we fight him, but he goes that Geppetto gives them the ultimate command, but they're fighting back to stop the plague of the Ergo monsters. So I'm curious, like, did Romeo was the one who initiated the attack, or was it Geppetto? It wasn't fully answered, I guess. It was kind of vaguely, because it was I guess it was vaguely stated to be Geppetto was the reason why they attacked.
Winter all of a sudden.
Because we see the festival is going to
sorry.
happen.
You want to know the year?
That voice sounds so much like Adair from Still Wakes the Deep. Cameron McClary. Hey YouTube, I wanted to add this little bit because I had not mentioned it in the last video, because I went back to play the game a bit to get some more footage, but then I just realized some of the details I wanted to share. Not that.
Me to hold your hand.
And
My forever friend. Help me to hold your hand and die.
let me start over. In this scene, we know that I've already added. I'm currently editing now as I'm recording this, but I wanted to add some, mention some things before I forgot about them. But as you can see, I'll have previously in the video a shot right here. This is the same outhouse. This is that right after the Archbishop house, right? And I was curious, where was this shot? Where was this scene? But we can see right here is these 3 statues, and this is where the broken stargazer would be at, the one that's overgrown. And this is this. I was curious, because as I see in the shot, you'll see I'm sitting next to the outhouse, next to the stargazer, and I looked to my right? And there's just like a bunch of boxes. I was curious, like, where did these butterflies lead? But looking at the statues here now, I know that they lead back to the church for whatever reason. And I'm curious, like, what is that back at the church for us to, or whatever this device leads us that way? And in this scene right here, I'm unsure where we're currently at, because this is the church. I have no idea how we got here. I mean to say, because I have an idea where we're at, because this is the church back there. This is the opera house that we fought the Puppet King, and this here is the what do you call it? The Grand Exhibition Day, wherever this big hall was at, because this is the exact same trolley, I think, that is, or not trolley, the railway to go back to the swamp from, or at least it should be, but based on these angles, not exactly so. But somewhere where I guess we emerged off from the back of the mountains or whatever. And this scene right here is like, this is to the top of the hotel.
Sorry, you want to know the year?
But we're riding another cart with has a Ferris wheel, and as I showed, I like had a picture with some like text. It's like, this Ferris wheel is not at all the same one you could see from the church. In fact, this one's much smaller, and plus we are able to see this whole this we're not in a mountain area where the Ferris wheel can be seen from the church, and that's because back here is the church itself. Right here, a very probably hard to see. Oh, put it back a little bit. You can see the church shape. It's not the hotel, it's the church, and from the direction, or at least based on the shot I have earlier, like a photo I have later in the game, in the video, that you could see like all of pretty much the map really in the one shot that I'll probably describe later. Like you can see like you from a different shot, not in here on the screen. Like you'll be able to see the hotel, you can see the opera house, you can see the house where the exhibit was at, the Grand Exposition. You can see the courthouse where we fought Murphy. You can see the factory. You can see I guess like where you leave the factory. You can even see the castle walled area where the slums was at, where you fight the Black Rabbit Brotherhood. But from this point of view, the big church is so close without any of the other landmarks being visible. This has to be from behind, I guess, possibly behind the church where you can't see. So, and that would kind of make sense, like if we're at like the slums somewhere far over beyond these mountains, and those butterflies lead us back to the church, probably they lead us to a path that then takes us behind the church, like alternate area where this whole train track probably leads to this here. Okay, this place is much ran down. It is. There's like, it's hard to tell with all these tents here, but like there is clearly a building here, but everything is like a wooden platform, kind of like much like, ooh, I think there's a corpse right here, one of the carcasses, the ergo monsters is what I call them. But this is much like the slums where everything is like scrap wood slapped together, despite there actually being electricity and well, a Ferris wheel and balloons and attractions. And what I can clearly see is like maybe pathways and sidewalks, but clearly this is definitely a house here.
What a pleasure to meet a stalker worthy of the
shark
name.
in progress.
It's been far.
I'm looking at this here interesting. It's like, it's a Hall of Adventures, and it's like lion sigils, and this in particular, this lion sigil, it has me thinking, because the outfit that the main character wears, like in the cover art or flagships, or what do you call those, but like it's like that blue sweater-esque thing with all the fancy embroidery and buttons. That outfit in the game is obtained after fighting the stalker with the mouse hat, and then you get like that key that goes to that one room, and it's called like the lion's outfit or whatever. And
Far too long.
Oh, my forever friend.
it must be some significant amount of time for the cat to be
Far too long.
young again. Like look how young the cat is. A kitty.
My forever friend.
I'm not sure how old it
Help me
was
to hold your
when we
hand and
found in the
dance.
base game. This here, this puppet string is the same power that we saw
You're not the
Geppetto
puppet I
use,
was
using the nameless puppet.
expecting.
And I'm curious about this lady. She clearly seems to be wearing the same glove Geppetto uses, but I'm unsure if she does she have a mechanical hand? Does she have a puppet's arm, or is this just her hand? And this is that strange device just connected to her. And she's awfully blue, which is odd, because the only blue we associated to be people who are infected with Ergo and become Ergo monsters. And this puppet in particular is an angel, and they had a lot in the game had it with a one-winged angel, and just like it's the reason why they have the arm of God that Simon Manus used. But this angel looks a lot like Mercy.
Who are you?
She was looking for someone.
This one man in particular is like, it's interesting that if he's the one talking in this scene, we've only ever seen like three roughly, I guess potentially four different Ergo monsters talk. We've had the Archbishop talk. He said some words before in his boss battle. We've had Simon Manus talk, but I'm not sure if he counts because he was more man-ish before he became monster. And technically he isn't like a monster compared to like how the Archbishop is. And then we also have that the big buff guy who was like the strongest ever. But then he came back. He's like he's in that big town hall we fight in. He's the big dude with muscles who just punches you. I can't really say he's like a monster. More like he just turns blue. And then the only actually Ergo monster who does talk but doesn't attack is that one soldier we find in the train cart when we come back to the train station, like in chapter 12 or something, I believe. But it is the man talking here. He also seems to wield a scepter,
Who are you?
much like how the Archbishop did when he was transformed. Because like he came out of this husk cocoon thingy with some strange horn and hair and an arm holding this strange device. Let me just see if that clears out the way.
Looking for someone.
And he seems to be almost in the alchemist like lair.
Legendary.
And this strange statue I heard someone else I think I might be somebody had mentioned that this features of this bald-headed man might have to be the same man as the one as the statue when we first enter Croc, the founder
She
of
stepped
Croc
up
itself.
only because no one else could. Too many stalkers were lost to that evil.
I feel like this voice belongs to this Aladoro, since he's wielding the dragon sword himself, and the parrot who plays as Aladoro on the main game. He killed him and took his weapon because he just wanted to sell some trinkets and get extra money. But if he's holding the very sword that they fought over, this has to be the real Aladoro. Plus, he came to aid us in battle. Parrot is a coward. He doesn't fight. So I really would imagine he'd jump in to fight to help us. What I find interesting about this character is they're infected with this. It's almost like the alchemist had got to them too, because they're infected with these like Ergo goo and these pipes, but they have this strange, very like jet engine like hammer, and they're in some sort of factory, which is interesting. Like this strange like shark Ergo monster has extra teeth, but also these goopy thingies that kind of remind me of like the swamp monster. And this creature here too, I thought he was wearing like a bust or like a statue on his head. It seems to be like his brain wrapped up with spiky Ergo, like they allow them like transforming into some sort of like, I guess, monster. And he's in a prison, what it seems like. He has this like a ball and chain that's bound in him, and he has scars all over his body. So he was probably some sort of like experiment as a guard dog. And this crazy Wolverine skills. See this
whatever
character.
it takes. Your survival is all that matters. Nothing else comes close. Not even your survival.
See,
Do whatever.
he has a strange like spear like. Can I go back a little bit? Nope, that's too far. see that he has a strange spear-like scepter,
Whatever it takes.
and he also has another hand behind him that has like look like an actual spear, look like an arrow kind of. And I just barely noticed this strange monolith-looking thing of a face. This is just like at the Alchemist's Island, where they had all these strange facial structures, and that one, like, in particular that I'm thinking of is that pillar that punches out the wall and knocks you down off the stairwell.
Your survival is all that matters. Nothing else comes close.
I had previously thought, now that I'm looking
survival.
at it real close on my giant screen, this was our player character, but we can see this is him right here with some giant weapon fighting both this flying angel-looking puppet and this blue woman who's wielding these, I will call them puppet strings, because this is the same thing that Geppetto used for the nameless puppet, to wield this strange magical orb.
All that
And
matters.
she's an incredible fighter too.
Nothing else comes close. Not even my
And I
life.
suppose it's another
I
player.
swear I
That's
won't be
really
late.
very beautiful.
Not again.
Finishing
swear I won't
move,
be late.
which reminds me a lot of Kaching from Genshin Impact.
Not again. Swear I
And
won't
what
be
weapon are
late.
we holding? That is
Not again.
this the dragon?
In my life.
Let me see.
I swear I won't be late.
This does not appear to be a
Not again.
dragon sword.
I swear I won't be late.
This is one
Not
thing
again.
that I think it has like a hand guard. Almost looks like a, can't describe it, but I'm not gonna try to look around for it. But now on to the second video. This is Legendary Stalker, but that's no surprise. In the description it says something about a legendary guy. And if from we've seen when we first make it to the Alchemist. I forgot I mentioned this is the story trailer. The previous video was the announcement trailer to tell us there's a DLC coming, but this was the story trailer. This should give us more insight about the story, which I believe both trailers give us a lot of insight what we're gonna see.
Listening to this song always reminds me of you. But now you belong to the past. Do you remember the time we all gathered to play this piece together? I never got to say farewell. I know it changed everything, but we endured. Perhaps someday, if we can cross the bounds of time, we'll meet again.
Here, don't want to add to play, but let me play it back so I can then pause it and talk about it. Also, I'm curious, like, I want to kind of just post this mostly raw, maybe just cut out if I'm like coughing or whatever too much. But I'm curious, like, how well this will do. Like, this is my first ever reaction video, and it's not something I'm really used to, so I'm gonna be extremely rough about it. I'm not gonna be like all the other people who like, one, if you my reactions to the videos who were like, they didn't seem like, wow, oh my god. It's because I've watched these videos so many times to pick apart and analyze them so I can make a script about them. I was like, nah, let me try something different. Let me try something new. And then that's why if my reactions were like, oh my god, wow, is now you know why. But I was like, this will be like, if this is successful, maybe I'll do some more times. Actually, I think I would really like to do this when it comes to like maybe I'll do some more of this for Happy Played videos. Where I'll go like, oh, this trailer for a game that I'm really excited for. I'll go, have you played this game or will you play it, whatever. But I was like, if this does well, then I might find this something that I'll do later in the future. But hopefully I'll get better at it. Maybe I'll like be more coherent when I'm talking, and probably look away at the look away from the camera less if I can, and maybe I'll even speak English a little bit better. Well, okay, let me start the video again and I'll make my notes. Like as I said, this is the legendary stalker. We can see by her weapon, she has just a saber right here, curved sword. And when we first enter, or when we first make it to the island of Alchemist, we see like with the ergo wavelengths, we see like our past, whatever, as young Carlos. And one of our memories is what is a legendary stalker who appears to be wearing some of the attire, with a strange plume on her head, but definitely has a saber and seeming like a cape. For a story trailer, it didn't say much at all about the story, but for lore-wise, this is very important to me. I'm also curious, why is he wearing a hat and like a fur nap thingy? He's a puppet, he shouldn't be getting cold. Round 8 Studios. Amazing game. What enough?
Listening to this song always.
Okay, this is our player character based on those boots.
Listening to this song always.
I'm curious who this man is. He almost looked like the alchemist that has the cane sword, but he doesn't at the same time, because I don't think he also wore a mask. But I wonder who this man is in particular. Then this is the legendary stalker. I like how she has these right here, this scene in particular. This is the very same hook that is from Romeo's weapon when he fights us in the second phase of the Puppet King battle. This is his very same hook that he fights with. His very weapon of choice, I suppose. And it's broken and bloodied in this scene. And from what I can see, this is a strange dome outside. Almost like a bird cage. And I'm curious, because we were fighting that blue-skinned lady with the robot. Well, I mean the puppet, not the robot. And it looked like some sort of like, I don't know, place for like a big tree in the center and other like flora. But right here, and specifically, like this might have something to do with this cage, which I think is the battlegrounds. There's this giant dome, which I believe is also a cage for, I guess, I don't know, this puppet, because there's the very mask used for that puppet, and this is some sort of workshop here. So I'm curious, like, this is Romeo's hook, bloodied and broken. Was this where Romeo lost his fight? This is where he died? Is this where he became the puppet he was and then got stuffed into the Puppet King's body? Because before anyone's knowledge, no one knew there was a Puppet King, because I believe he was supposed to be displayed for, I guess, that grand day that they were waiting for before the Puppet Frenzy. For like, that's why they had all these exhibits and look at these, and but that all before the Puppet Frenzy happened. I don't think anyone was really able to see that there was a Puppet King. Even though some people did mention there was, but some people said like, I don't remember there being a Puppet King. So like, not everybody knew that there was. So it must have been something that wasn't popularly known. So it must have been freshly new, and those who knew probably had more insight about it. Because they said like Bella Rosa Street was the street where the strongest puppets were like located around, where that's like, I guess, the heart of the frenzy took place, was like in, I guess, near where, closer to where Romeo was located. See, there's even blood still actively dripping on it. This person in right here, I'm not sure who this could be, because we can see there's their boot, and there's plenty of roses here. And the only other characters that's symbolized with roses is the legendary stalker. Red hair, roses, the frillies on her
Do you
wrist,
remember the time we all gathered
but
to play this
her
piece together?
boots don't seem to match the ones that we see. And there's that Monarch Charity House, the M from that sweater.
I never got to say farewell.
If this man is like the one from the founder, I forget what his name was, the founding father, I guess, of Krat, who wields that alchemist book. Because I know that the father of Sophia was quote unquote missing, or somehow something happened to him when there was an outbreak of an infection that happened inside the orphanage, or the charity house. Previously it was an orphanage, but then became a charity house. And something happened to the father, and he was just no longer around. And I don't know what happened to the mother, never really stated. But that's how Sophia ended up being, well, that's how the alchemists came under the rule of Simon Manes, and that's how Simon imprisoned Sophia and used her power against her, just because he like loved her. And strangely, he thought, I guess, becoming a god would make her love him more for whatever reason. Oh, and this scene in particular here, see, look at this, I guess, what is this, like a watch, probably? Oh yeah, I believe it's a watch. It's embroidered with roses. So I'm curious, like, did the legendary stalker die with that run scene right here with the roses? Yes, the scene. Like, her boots don't match though, but like rose petals everywhere, and just like her locket, she's associated with roses. Did she fall? Is she the end of her over here in this scene? We can even see that it says something on the back, but I can't really see what it says. I can't make that out.
I never got to say farewell.
I never got to say farewell. I'm also curious
Got
where
to
this
say
location's
farewell.
at too. It seems like it's in a cave or whatever, but it's interesting because, like, if that is the same man who is from the Manes charity house, why would he be outside in a frozen area and then covered in candle wax at that too? Or no, it was a statue. It couldn't have been him. I'm wrong. But this legendary stalker, we've seen in the same flashback at the island of the Alchemist Island. It's her standing over Carlos's dead body and going, "I'm sorry, I was too late. I wish I came sooner." And what I just realized is, like, I don't know if anyone else who said about this during the reaction said, if you just look at our player character, I call him player character because it's not Pinocchio. His name's not Pinocchio, and he's not Carlos either, or because Carlos died a long time ago. And he's not Pinocchio because his nose ain't growing. He's not the Pinocchio. Even in the book, he goes, his favorite book was about a wooden boy who lied and whatever. Never said Pinocchio. Pinocchio's not said anywhere once in the game. And you go like, well, where's the P for? It's Pinocchio. No, it's Eliza Puppet. Who's lying? We're a puppet and we're lying. So it's Eliza Puppet, not Eliza Pinocchio. So even then, it was like, everyone calls it Geppetto's Puppet. P and Puppet. I don't know where they got Pinocchio. I know it's like, it is a Pinocchio, you know, with the Jiminy Cricket, and then P and lying, and then even with the painting with our nose growing every time we lie, and becoming a real boy. But no, it's Puppet. That's what the P stands for. But it's like, our hair in this scene, for those who've done the true ending, or you lie enough, you get long black hair. If you lie even more and set Sophia free, you get white long hair. And even, let me go back to the last video real quick. The start of this video, we have this strange device here, and we are wearing this in particular outfit. This outfit is the one I stated before. This is the one that said like blue lion or lion something. I believe it's either in the description or it's the name itself. Something to do with a lion. I actually should have played the game a bit. before to check the minor details. But yes, this one says something about lion, and we killed a rat, the rat stalker, to get a key and whatever to get this whole this. So it's like, then I'm curious, like, will we see someone in that Hall of Adventure? Since there was lion sigils on some of the banners, it's like, will we see someone who's associated with a lion, or will we see a lion stalker? But back to the subject at hand. So you think in this scene right here, this is like, I guess, directly after the Archbishop fight. So yeah, cut the part out. But we're in that. We're still in like right after the Archbishop in that shanty town, and we can see here that we still have the simple arm. It's not like that makes a difference. It's not like just any of this apply. Like, we can have any outfit and any arm at this point, but we have short black hair. And assuming this is right after, because if we have short black hair, we haven't lied enough, and we aren't human. So I feel like to play the DLC, since they said the DLC also will affect the main storyline, you can't have like the true ending and load up your save and play right off. I think you have to have for my understanding, that I'm making in my head canon, that you will have to play a new save file from the start again. No, I guess New Game Plus, none of that, and play up to this point. If you have this device, I guess it's gonna appear somewhere. You're gonna receive it somehow or find it or something, and you're gonna probably go off on this adventure to the DLC. You're gonna go through all this. You're gonna learn what's gonna happen, because through, I guess, this backstory, you'll learn to what happens to Romeo. Hopefully, I really hope to see what no one's happened to Romeo, about the man at the charity house. Like, I forget his name, but this like the Monold. His name was Monold. Whatever. It's Sophia's father. Hopefully, learn about him. Maybe more about Carlos. Because if what we learn here affects the future, then I guess we can't have a game file that we've already, done the true ending and all that. Maybe even like the final boss might even change. Hopefully we'll see what happens when this game releases. But we can see here that the legendary stalker is struggling in this fight, and who I thought she was fighting previously I had thought this person was our player character. So I realized it can't be. Because of this right here. This particular scene with the arm. This person's left arm has a sleeve on. And as we've seen every outfit our player character use,
Everything.
he cuts off or rolls up the sleeve up to the part where his puppet arm is. So whoever this person is that are the legendary stalkers facing, and that's making her struggle, has to be stronger than her, but is still human. Because this is her and the puppet player character fighting a thing, a bear. And story-wise, I didn't really get too much, but lore-wise,
Perhaps
this is
someday, if
incredible
we
detail.
can cross the bounds of time, we'll meet again. Bounds of time.
Because look at this right here, this particular, I thought it was like, this is just maybe the outskirts of crap. But right here, now that I have it on like a giant screen on my monitor, there's the Monard Charity House M, the same sigil, or the same M that's on like their little necklace, the one that you can find in Carlos's outfit, like school kid outfit, and the one we see her pick up off that giant sweater. This is the very M. So I'm thinking, could this be the orphanage, the charity house, that ended up having an accident where the Sophia's father went missing, well, probably received like as dead? What happened to him? Like, will we see what happened here in this event? Because otherwise, we've only could find like papers and notes and like other things that mentioned stuff. It's like, I think, in fact, the only way we were able to find out about Sophia's father's, I guess, death, and realistically, just it was his death, was because the book we bought off the Black Cat, and so like it was a unpublished edition. It was like, what do you call it? Not redacted, but like it was illegal to read it. It said like, oh, this one's not allowed. You can't read it. It's illegal. And I was like, but it was a ripped up version of the book, so it didn't tell us much. It only told us that there was something that happened at the charity house that the father, I guess, no longer was around anymore. But we'll probably find out what this was, and we'll see like maybe what was the cause of this outbreak, this sickness. Maybe we'll see. Maybe even that giant talking Urgle monster could have been. Is there a shot of him? There's not a shot of him. Maybe that giant talking Urgle monster from the last trailer could be the father, but I'm uncertain. Because look, there's even. Wait, what's on our hip? Well, there's Gemini, and then she has her own Gemini. And when we first played the game, Sophia said like, oh, everyone has a Gemini or whatever. Gemini's a guide, especially for, I guess, like tourists. But our Gemini in particular was special. It was different. Well, if we have the same Gemini, she, I guess, was the original owner of Gemini, but I'm curious as why he's different, and then how would it play out now that there's, I guess, supposedly if this could be the original Gemini, and then this is our Gemini, who should have all his memories back by this point. So like, how would the two interact if like, because this one's definitely gonna speak, because why wouldn't he? And that one probably. We'll see how this one. I'm curious like how this one reacts. Because when we first get Gemini, he's more like robotic, and then given time, when we get to like the second area after, well, the first area after the hotel, he talks. He's back to his normal self. I'm curious, like, does this normal self that we see in the game the same as applies to when he's with the legendary stalker in the past? And then how would the two interact with each other? Because he clearly knows that we're in the past when we at the start of the trailer.
One day, if we can cross the bounds of time, we'll meet again.
Lies of P. So good. Oh yes, I was also saying, like, if she's standing in with Carlos's body as a boy, how would she know who he is in the doll? I also just realized the nameless puppet. If Carlos died as a boy and the legendary stalker said, I'm sorry, I should have been there on time, looking at a body that's like on the ground all red in the memory, if he died, how did because from what I remember off the top of my head and from my understanding, that even from like in my older videos that I made a lore theory about like because our player character has a P organ in his heart. His P organ is just, well, I guess a puppet organ. It's just a beating heart, the one that, uses quartz to level up and I guess unlock more potential. But we've seen a P organ in one more instance where we first enter like that big theater place when we fight the King of Puppets. We've seen a P organ that is used in the puppet scene of reenacting of Geppetto ripping out the player character's heart. I'll probably like clip that scene somewhere later. But we've seen two P organs, and I believe that from the nameless puppet being being Geppetto's first ever attempt at making a real human out of a puppet. But what my headcanon is that he uses Carlos's body to make the puppet, and he just repurposes the actual organs with puppet parts. And perhaps if that was his first attempt at bringing his son back using his actual corpse and just putting a bunch of puppet parts in him, maybe he developed the first P organ to go in that body of the nameless puppet. And then Romeo, I like to believe that he also had a P organ, because we see one with him during not with him, but during that little theater show. So like, if it was still him, perhaps he was in a second attempt, because we know that Romeo retained some of his memories. And he was even like, he recorded in that like one message decoder that Venini had to decode for us. We're like, he remembered Carlos, he remembered his past, he remembered everything about him. He even knew certain things even after becoming a puppet. So like, I like to think that in my theory is that Romeo was the second attempt at making a puppet a human, which it definitely worked better than the first, since I'm theorizing the first was the nameless puppet, but the nameless puppet had no mouth, no face, no facial features, but he was a functioning puppet out of a human body, so I guess somewhat living, despite needing strings, but then also not needing strings after we cut his head off. But then we have our player character, Geppetto's puppet, probably his greatest success because he has active P organ. He looks so much like his son. The only thing we have off about it is that we have the one puppet arm, which is interesting. It's like, it is the left hand at that. And we've seen so much about symbolism in this game, from the main game, about left and the one-winged angel, the one-winged angel. And from the outfit you can buy from that guy you save from the Alchemist Island, who ends up going to La Rosa Street, the outfit you buy is from that one stalker who's a singer, that lady with the white outfit and the rapier. But we see it's like the one-winged angel, I guess, had his one wing on his left side, and the hand of God from when it was in our inventory was a left hand, and our player character is missing his left hand. And I think Alidoro lost his finger on his left hand, saving what was that girl's name? I forget her name. The weapons girl. I forget her name. Sorry. But there's so much about left hands in this game. I was like, and I'm curious to see like will we see anything about what was I talking about? Yes, there's so much about left hands in the game. It's like, curious, like the nameless puppet was just a half torso with puppet parts. Romeo had his left side of his face burnt off to reveal his puppet side, and we have our left side arm as puppet, even though for some reason the rest of our body is mostly like human-esque. Perhaps were we supposed to, if we gave up our, in the bad ending, we give up our human heart, or give up our heart. We give up our heart, he takes it, and then he turns us evil. But I'm curious, like, did Geppetto purposely leave us with our left hand not human like the rest of our features, to then use the arm of God on this puppet to make him more human? I'm unsure, because even in the bad ending, I believe we do have our puppet arm. I'll have to touch up on this later. I should have touched up on this before and maybe recorded footage. Let me just go back at the last video. Let me see. Yes, guys. We have our short hair. We're here. Let me see. What's this? Yeah, that's not interesting.
Want to know the year?
I think I know exactly the location's at. When we're on top of the church in chapter 4, I could see a Ferris wheel so far away, but I don't think we were able to see it, or we never came across it that I remember. Or I believe we were close to a Ferris wheel. Now that I think about it, we were in the La Rosa Street or whatever it's called, and there was a Ferris wheel in the background far away that I believe it's the same Ferris we were able to see from the top of the church, but we also just couldn't reach it. That was never something we went to. But this was out here, out in the mountains, out too far away. And biggest kicker of all is, like, I don't believe this was the position or the size of the same Ferris wheel that I believe I'm thinking of. It seems somewhere out
What a
there,
pleasure to meet a
just out
stalker
there.
worthy of the name. It's been far, far too...
And right here in particular, I'm curious, like, there's so many people who are strung up, and this guy on the mammoth's arm and tusk, and just blood everywhere. I was like, I wonder why and who did this. This, like, now that I look closer, they look somewhat blue, but now that I look at this one, this one particular looks like one of the Ergo monsters that have their head split open. I'll probably display a picture later. So we can see an outbreak of Ergo monsters, but they're leaking, well, red blood. And the Ergo monsters don't leak red blood, they leak blue. At least unless I'm wrong. But then why were these ones hung? And they don't appear from the neck, they appear like they're from their bodies. Probably should change that before I get yelled at by YouTube.
Forever friend.
I love how beautiful this arm is. And then for it to have a shotgun is crazy.
Help me to hold. Oh, my forever friend.
That's a strange...
Help me to hold your hand and dance.
I like this. I hope we get to see the Parade Master and Murphy and some of the puppets before they became frenzy. That'd be actually really cool. And I'm curious, like, if we do New Game Plus, or because in New Game Plus you could, with the Venenius Advanced Decoder or Cipher, we were able to understand what the puppets were saying in New Game Plus the second time around we faced them. Like, will we be able to understand puppets now in the DLC? Like, if we, oh, look at, even right here, there is the Parade Master right here as a little monito. It's like, and then there's that one very creepy one that you fight in that cellar with the two, like, bowling pins with nails all jammed through. That's him right here. He was arguably, not arguably, he is in fact the most creepiest puppet in the game, because he's just like so horrifying in his design, almost like a scary movie for this. I'll probably put a picture somewhere around here. But his design was just like, it made me jump the first time I saw it. And this area too, where just like it's a small tent. Yeah, like this, it feels, and there's like a big bird here. It's like, this feels like very like, and there's like dirt. It's like, this feels like this would be something that was like in a dome for like plants, a greenhouse probably. Another bird, more birds. It's like, see, and then that's what I'm talking about. This right here, okay. This same building seems to have this glass dome, and we saw a building with a dome that appeared somewhat like a cage in that scene where in the other video where, just pull it up, where we see Romeo's broken hook right here. This like dome would, I guess, appear like a windows, which I guess somewhat striking semblance.
You're not the puppet I was expecting.
And this is like this.
Who are
This
you?
is the very same mask of this right here. Oh, and I just barely realized there's puppets that are impaled behind her. And I'm curious what all this is. This strange bluish teal color material that feels like ergo, but not like the rock ergo that we find and what's used in the puppets, but more like the growths and the mutations we see that stem on the walls and on the mutated monster ergo people.
But now you belong to the past.
But I think I've mentioned everything I thought of, or whatever came to mind here. I'm actually very curious about this bow here. I'm really excited. This bow feels really cool. I wonder if there's gonna be more ranged weapons, because this is like a weapon, not like an arm attachment. Because this actually looks pretty cool. I don't even know what this could be, but I think this is all I think I've wanted to talk about in this video. But yeah, this is what everything I want to talk about in this video. I guess it's like, As I said, this is like the first time doing like a reaction video. It's kind of like not like reaction, but like mostly like watch it once and then talk about my thoughts and the whatever I wanted to point out. And I guess like if best example what gave me the idea to do this was when MatPat does like reaction videos on GT Live, but like he's just so much better at it, and so he's like had more practice and he's more coherent, and he probably always touches up on the lore before he watches something. But well, as me, I just did something so I wouldn't get copyright struck for like, oh, you can't use that video. It's like you can't use that in your own content. That's like thievery. It's like get struck down by YouTube and copyright laws. And I was like, so I did a reaction video, and it feels a lot messier than probably writing a script. But then also I didn't really know how I was gonna take that writing a script. I was like, well, how could I write a script if I was gonna just pinpoint certain things, and I would need you guys to watch the video anyways without assuming that you did, for you to understand what points I'm pointing out and all that. But yeah. So with that said, I was like, I guess that's why I'll end this video here. So like, also remember, 8 Studios, I got the official jacket. This game changed my life. You know, hint, hint, wink, wink. Let me you know, I would love to be a part of the team for the beta testers. I was like, I played the demo. I played the demo for 30 hours, or no, I played it for 40 hours until I got like level 30 or 20 something, and for it not to cross over. But I'll tell you what, I would love to do any beta testing or demos for like the DLC. You just hit me up before it releases. But with that said, yes, I guess I'll end this video here somehow. I don't know. This is something I guess like I very much enjoy. It's like I can see myself doing this for have you played videos where like I'll go like, look at this trailer and blah 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 whatever. But as for lore wise, this could work out, I guess. Like I guess in certain scenarios, but we'll see how this plays out. We'll see how well this video does, and then this will do well as much as you guys enjoy it. And it's like, and so we'll see how this goes with this. But with that said, thank you for watching, and you can always subscribe, like, comment, share, all that good stuff, and whatever. So, but bye bye. See you guys next time.